I guess you'd call her the little bartender, should have been fired immediately. She should not be allowed in there. Why in the hell the bartender? But none of that has happened.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Kirk. No.
I don't give a. If that was her old man, I'd beat his too. You know, I don't give a. This is that this happened to a woman. It didn't happen to anybody, but to a freaking woman. If you're a true 1% person and you stand for what you are, because that's the way they are. They don't go around beat up on women. They're supposed to be, men, not mouses.
And stand up to there's supposed to be a standard
That's
level
correct.
of that they're supposed to live by with the patch on their back and not
That's
act
correct.
in that way, because it makes the whole club look bad, right?
That's correct. That's correct. There is so much to that you stand for when you have that patch. And, and that's the thing. When you go out in public, you're representing that patch. You're representing who you are. And if you can't, and that's what you call representing your club, you don't belong in that club. And it really pisses me off that people are sitting there, and I've got several of them that text me anonymous and everything else and want to sit there and say stuff to me, but yet they can't freaking come out and say it and put their name behind it. If you're that kind of a mouse, you don't deserve to even be in a club.
They don't let you see the tape then, right? What happens
Nope.
next?
Well, next we end up coming back to the house. And then it was, and that was one of the other things. They want to know why it took several days for her to call the cops. Well, they got to understand, first of all, she went to the hospital and stayed there all night long. She drove herself home that morning. And then that's when I seen her. Then she stayed in bed for almost a week, several days before we got up and went back down there. And then when she got back, she had called the cops. And now this is, she had called them to come over here to file the report. So they come over here and just file, but she didn't file charges yet. She just filed the report. We were waiting to see what was going to happen, because I contacted club members. I contacted several people and said, hey, this took place. Well, I understand that I got put out bad right away for calling the cops. Well, this is
but you didn't even call the cops.
No, I did not call them. That's the thing. And I told him I didn't give a shit. I don't care. You can put me out bad over this if you want to, if that's what you think. If that's the kind of man you are, I don't want to be part of it anyway. And so I got other brothers of mine that they're talking about that may got put out bad because of this too. It's very unearthing that people would stand behind and think this is good behavior. I got a bunch of them that says there ain't. Now, I will say that, but any of them that doesn't pull that patch and shove that thing down his throat right now, that's what should happen. He should be put out bad on his without thing on.
The president too probably should be put
absolutely 100%.
So you don't get to see the video that time. She heals up, and what happens next?
Right now, what happened next is this. We're gonna, we're trying to make this thing.
You don't see the video by this time, right?
No, I don't say it. No. I haven't seen no video. I haven't seen it until she finally goes down and presses charges. And this like a month later, maybe when y'all got the video, that's when she finally goes and press charges, because she didn't press charges until then. And then they want to tell her that, now, oh, well, it waited so long. It's a simple assault or this or that. Well, there's just a bunch of. It's not a simple assault. Anybody thinks that's a simple assault. In fact, anytime you continuously beat on somebody that's down, that becomes another layer of
felony.
It's a felony, right? Yeah. And this guy's already had been in prison for a felony.
He was hitting her good, like he was punching her like a man.
That's right. Right. That's what I'm saying. He says, you want to ride like a man and this and that. Well, here you go. And he's sitting there punching her, saying things like this to her. He told me. Well, because she rides more than most men do. She rides more than him. Most men, she outrides most men, because she's on her bike all the time, riding all over the freaking place. That's one thing I can say. Rain, sleet, snow, it wouldn't matter to her. She's on her bike riding. And a lot of men, they get they can't believe it, that she's out there doing that.
Now, what do you think when you finally see the video and you
Oh,
see for your own eyes what happened?
I'm furious. I'm fired. Right now I'm out for blood. And I gotta watch, and I know I gotta watch what I do. Everything else, I know I don't need to be doing certain things, but I tell you right now, I'm out for his blood, one way or the other. I want him in jail. I want him. I want him. I want something happening to him. I want him stripped of everything. I want everything he's got taken from him. I mean, he doesn't deserve to be freaking anything. I gotta watch what I say. I'm very unearthed about this.
I would be too.
I come from old school, old school. He would be taken out back and be given a good lesson.
You finally see the video. Do you reach back out to them, and what
Oh
do they
yes,
say when you
yes,
finally
yes.
tell them what you've seen?
I, they separate themselves from me.
Do they acknowledge that this happened, and
That
do you say you guys should pay her hospital bills? You should make this right.
ain't none of them said anything about making anything right. Ain't none of them reached out to us and said, as far as the ones that's is responsible and the locals, ain't nobody even freaking said that we're going to take care of things. All they say, what do you expect us to do? Or what, what's your end game? Or, it's just smart remarks. You're putting a black eye on the club now. This is the things we get. And it's like, no, we didn't put a black eye on the club. Y'all put a black eye on the club.
They
Y'all,
did
y'all
it to
did this to yourself.
themselves.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And they're trying to do everything they can do to sit there and push everybody else the other way. And they don't think that, she was coming back because she goes to a cancer center and she has to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours every time she goes one way over to this Mary Bird Perkins over in by Baton Rouge, and we're over here in Mississippi. She goes over there at least there for a while is once, twice a week sometimes, and now she's going at least once every week or every other week. And she's had several things going on with her, and one of them is lesions in her head, her skull, and her brain. So it could have killed her. And not thinking about it, it could have. And she's got appointments moved up because they've been watching these. They they watch them. Nothing's happened because they don't want to go in there and just do brain surgery automatically and cause more problems. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes opening something up, if it's not to the growth part yet, you don't open it up, and that's the way it's kind of explained to us. I
It
don't know
goes
how to.
spread.
I'm
Yeah, it
not.
goes
Yes,
spread.
I'm not a cancer doctor, so all we can do is go back and forth. And anybody that wants to sit there and say she don't have it, well, we go to the doctor enough. Obviously there's some form of some kind of cancer, because we go to doctors all the time for cancer center. We're in the cancer center all the freaking time. And so I don't listen to their bullshit anymore, their lies, their deceitfulness. They're dishonest, and they try to narrate things to make it look in their favor. Well, they can't narrate this enough to be in their favor, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, there is no rebuttal that they have for this, because it's a pure disgusting what he did to her.
It's pure disgusting. It's total pure disgusting behavior, and for them to let him even wear that patch anymore, it's putting a black eye on them for wearing that freaking patch right now. I've been told all kinds of things. I've been told that, if it keeps up, my life is going to be in jeopardy, or this, that. I don't care. What the hell? I do not care. I don't. This is going to get out there, and I support my old lady. That right there, what happened to her is total. And anybody that looks at that knows otherwise. They can say what they want to. They can put it out there that, however they want to put it. I've been told all kinds of stuff, that, you know, I'm at jeopardy if I'm out on the road or this or that. I don't care. I don't care. I'm easy to find. I don't hide. That's one thing I don't do is hide.
But you still need to watch out for your old lady being by herself on the road,
Oh,
and
absolutely. That's
you know,
she's slowed down a lot because she used to write. She loves to sing. She has her own little. She even has one song that somebody trying to publish, and she wrote songs and she sings all the time. That's what she does. She loves going to bars to sing. She loves karaoke, and she's a very talented person, very talented artist. She can take a mural. She can look you and draw you out right like you stand right there, and not look at you
she
again.
did the artwork at the clubhouse.
She did all the artwork at the clubhouse that everybody was commending how good it was and everything. And she free-handed it better than most people can freaking put the thing down and sketch it. That's how talented. I watched her do it. I've watched her do so many murals. It's breathtaking that things that she does. She's got a photographic memory, very talented, very artistic, and she's had cancer before, and so for a long time she couldn't sing and this and that because it was throat cancer, and she got it back. It was in her carotid artery, and but now she's up singing again, and she loves to sing. She loves to go out and sing, so she goes out and sings karaoke at these bars, and she sings with a couple band members that want her in her band now, and stuff like that. So she goes and she gets herself put out there so people can hear her, and she sings all over. We went to Texas from vacation not too long ago, and she was in the bar, and they were just all ecstatic how good she was and the way she was blowing out some blues musics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's a very talented person, but
the
she don't take
bar,
crap. She
the
doesn't take crap though, and
the
that's the
bar
thing
can
that
be held liable for this situation.
I believe so.
What do you think about the bar being held
The
responsible
bar is,
because they didn't
you
hit
know,
the
that
panic button, they didn't call the police, she threw a rag at her.
Well, here's my deal with them. They're good people as far as I know, but I don't know them. But here's my thing: if that was my bar, first of all, they wouldn't be allowed in there. None of them, and I don't mean that just that one guy. I mean none of them would be allowed in there wearing that patch. First of all, because they just showed what it is, and then the I guess you'd call her the little bartender should have been fired immediately. She should not be allowed in there. Why in the hell the bartender? But none of that has happened. Yeah, you're trying to save face on your bar and they're your friends and all, but all you've done is sit there and promote that because now you still got them in there. You can say you increase security or put more cameras up or whatever you want to say, but you still have them at that bar. You say you support Mojo. Why are they still at that freaking bar? If you support her, why are they still there? Because they had the opportunity to freaking call the cops, and they say, oh, well, Mojo called the cops. She come out and called me. But why in the hell does she have to get up off the bar with bleeding blood all over the bar with a rag in her face, go locate a phone from somebody and try to call instead of the
When
bar
they're
call?
all
And then,
witnessing it. Everybody's
yeah,
witnessing the
yeah,
situation.
and she don't leave for 5 minutes later. That's something you don't even see. She's sitting there at the bar bleeding and stuff and don't leave for 5 minutes. They got up and left. Well, nobody still didn't call the police. They didn't call an ambulance to see if she needed to be checked on or anything else. And yet she has a fractured jaw. She had go have her head glued back together where it was lesions and stuff like that, and her jaw's all swollen out now. But nobody called the ambulance, the cops, nothing to see if she was okay. She had to have one guy help her pick her bike up off the ground because the big piece of threw it down on the ground. That threw it straight down on the ground and busted her bike up, and then we had to fix. So what kind of is that? I mean, what kind of man are you? You know, you're
That's
not a
that
fucking
video's
man.
that's on video too, right?
Yeah, that's on video. It just wasn't released out.
Yeah.
It's all on video.
One of these videos has 143,000 views, and that's one of them. There's multiple videos on different platforms, and it's
Right.
going viral. A lot of people are got eyes on this situation. What do you want to happen to the bar, and what do you want to happen to the people involved with this situation?
Well, what I would like is a good lawyer first, man, and let the lawyer talk to us about it. I don't want to get into legal, but they are liable for nothing else for her her freaking pain and suffering that she's going through right now, and her doctors. Yeah, I'm not worried about me, but I'm worried about her. I mean, people don't know that I have to live with this woman every day, and every day of her life she's reliving this now.
Yeah.
And especially since this freaking she was already bad enough, but once she's seen the video, it just all it does is bring back, and now it's just like PTSD, every day of her life. She's just freaking going through this. And it's hard because she can't sleep. She paces all night. She's upset. She's mad. She's sad. She's got feelings and she don't know which way to go. She's going to have to get some kind of therapy help. It's going to have to be something, and then, she's still got more medical to go after now that we got to go to her cancer center is fixing to, we had to move it up. And so now we got to go back down there for that. And, it's sad. It really is. And for them to
So
just get scot
yeah.
free away from it right now, I just can't, I don't even understand how that works.
So if there's a lawyer out there and you're watching and you want to help these people, maybe you can push them in the right direction or show them what to do, where to go. This is a major lawsuit on your hands, on the lawyer, whoever takes this case's hands. I mean, the bar's responsible. This guy that did the assault, these other people just standing around watching. Some people think it's no big deal. It's a guy beating up a girl. That's crazy. Anyone that excuses this type of behavior, it's disgusting. It really is. Correct. Whoever excuses this.
That's correct.
We've
had all kinds of people reach out to us that, this is disgusting. Even people in other clubs, and and they all are really upset about this happening. But the people that freaking sit there and act like this ain't nothing, they need it to happen to them and say that. That's all I can say, because I bet that'd be a whole different story.
Yeah, if it was their wife or
their wife, their daughter. I mean, you got to think of it. Your wife, your daughter, your mother, whatever.
So what are you guys going to do moving forward? What are your plans besides getting a lawyer and doing all this situation?
Honestly, I got to get her some therapy, some help, because this is really getting, she's crying 50% of the day. She and by the way, thank y'all for all your support. I really appreciate it. Just reaching out to us, the ones that like you have reached out to, thank you for your support. That is really helping us out. And
no doubt.
But we got to get her some kind of therapy. I got to get her into something. And then of course I'll go forward, and we're just gonna take it day by day is all I can do right now, and see what happens day by day, because I can't make things happen, but y'all's voice and the voices of everybody else that has supported us and the voices that's helping us, that's that right there is going to do more than me just talking about it.
And what do you think about the people burning their support gear?
That's people that support us, that's known us, and I love them. They showing support for Mojo because they think it's a bunch of, they are pissed off big time over this happening, because they cannot freaking support any kind of person that's going to act like this, and that's their whole thing.
Now, what do you got to say to your old brothers that you used to have? Because this used to be your club.
No, like, I love a lot of my brothers. I talk to some of my old brothers every day. And, I don't want to mention names on here, but I do have a lot of brothers in there that have reached out, a few of them. But they do not like this type of behavior. They condone it, the ones that I have talked to. And I love them. They've supported me, them. Now, there's a lot of them that's not in there no more, with me. Some of my chapter, several of us got out right at the same time. And so they're not in the chapter no more, because I got out, our president got out, which there's a couple others got out. But, here's the thing is, they would have not allowed this to happen. If we would have had this chapter and we would have been here at this time, that would have never happened. The problem is we're not in it no more. You got other people coming up, and you got people in there that should not be a president, obviously, because he can't make decisions. He don't know how to make decisions. He don't know how to freaking, it's sad. It really is that this has come to this. And I don't like talking bad about a club that I did love and support, but I'd be damned if I'm going to let them sit there and bash my old lady like this either.
Yeah, they're not all bad. The whole Galloping Goose is not bad. It's only the individuals in this video that we're talking about. Like, we don't want to put a stain on the whole club, because there's a lot of good guys out there.
But I do want the club to freaking take him out. You know, when I say take his patch, put him out bad. Show some support for us instead of letting him stay in there. He does not need to be in that club because all he's doing is putting a black eye on that club. And if they want to sit there and let their do that because they got the right, they could vote him out. He could
Yeah.
be voted out. You know, and he can be taking this patch plumb off his back right there in front of everybody, and that's what needs to happen. He
So
needs to
if
be
they
stripped
took
of
his
it.
patch, and they came out and made a statement saying they condone this type of behavior, would that be enough for you?
I can't say it'd be enough for me or her, but I would be along the lines that would be a better because they've had time to do this. But yes, it would actually make a lot things a lot better for us with the club. You know, because I mean,
Yeah.
she rides with Eric. You know, she rides around that guy that was there that should have stopped it. She's in that bar with him every freaking week, buying him drinks, or they're buying her drinks, and she's singing with them and everything else, and every week. And yet, you're gonna let it happen because you're too scared to step in front of this other guy. I mean, are you a 1%? Or are you? You know, that's the way I look at it. You should have stepped in there. And you could have stopped it. You could have stopped it from the very first get go when she walked in that door and he started hollering at her and this and that. He could have pulled him off to the side and said, "Hey, let's squash this. Not here. You know, we're not
Where are
doing
they
this."
coming up with this information about the stolen bike and all that? Where
There,
do you
there's so
think this
many.
is
There's so
coming
many
from?
specific. You know, this could go. There's so many things that they want to run their mouth and say this and that. Well, I don't know which one they're talking about. I mean, you know, it's stupid. It is plumb stupid that they're even saying it. First of all, my old lady wouldn't know how to steal a bike. You know, and so first of all, this it's a bunch of crap. The only bike she's ever rode is the bikes I bought her, and that's the one she's riding right now. And you know, she's had one other bike, and that's it. So it's a bunch of, you know, and I've heard so many stories. She stole a $20,000 bike. She stole this bike. She stole that. I don't, dude. It's just stories being made up. And you know what? You know what it amounts to is that she stood up to that man, and when she stood up to him, it embarrassed him because it embarrassed him in front of his other patch holders because he's supposed to be this big badass man, and so he stood up. She stood up to him and put him down in his place, and he could not handle it, and that's what it amounted to. And when he couldn't handle it, he got embarrassed. And so what does he do? He lashes out because he's embarrassed now. And that's
Yeah.
what happened. I mean, that's as simple as that. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He got embarrassed because she would not freaking cow down to him.
Tries to ban her from the bar, and she's like, "I'm gonna drink my beer," right?
Right, right. She's standing up. She's freaking holding her ground. And she takes a whooping and still stands there and still didn't just up and leave.
He didn't even knock her out either. He
No,
tried.
no, no, he tried.
No,
No.
it's just crazy that this even happened. I'm so sorry for her having to go through all this. And
Miss Staxx, I appreciate you even talking to us about it and putting it out there. I appreciate it. I really do.
yeah, anything I could do for you in the future moving forward. If there's a lawyer out there that wants to reach out to this family and help them get some help and point them in the right direction, reach out to him. Me, we'll put the link in the description of this video. And are you guys going to start a GoFundMe or anything to help with the medical bills?
We need to. We haven't yet. We've been told by one guy he was going to get with us about starting one. One of the other guys that did local here, but I don't know. I, you know that when it becomes technology like that, I'm old school technology. I'm still just above the flip phone. So
I
I
appreciate you
appreciate it.
taking the time. And is there anyone you
Thank
want to
you.
give a shout out to before we go?
No, no, I just appreciate you giving us the time and the effort. And I do want to say that thank you for all the ones that support Mojo.
Definitely. If you guys like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad. Start your own podcast. Peace.
Amen.
Thanks, man.